Tacos. Tacos. That's what's got Donald Trump pissed off in what was a really stunning moments ago in the Oval Office, where a reporter let Trump know what Wall Street thinks of him, and it has to do with tacos. More on that in a bit. But first, let's just get to the rest of this stuff because it's all crazy. Donald Trump, when swearing in Judge Jeanine Pirro of Fox News to be one of the most important federal attorneys, Fox News host who hasn't done anything law-related in 30 years except for being on TV, he was asked by reporters a lot of questions, and he was not in the mood for it. It was glorious to see it. Here he was saying that Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are, and they're getting their ass kicked. Are they getting their ass kicked?
Do it. I mean, people with 1,600 in their boards don't get in, and they're letting people in, and they're bragging about how they're teaching them basic mathematics. Where do these people come from? So we have to look at the list, and Harvard has to understand the last thing I want to do is hurt them. They're hurting themselves. They're fighting. You know, Columbia has been really, they were very, very bad what they've done. They're very anti-Semitic and lots of other things. But they're working with us on finding a solution. And, you know, they're taking off that hot seat. But Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are, and they're getting their ass kicked. Thank you very much, everybody.
They're not getting their ass kicked. In fact, I actually put this on my YouTube community here, where I shared that this got almost 200,000 likes from all of you, or I showed that Harvard University is launching a free college course online that covers basic U.S. government, understanding the Constitution, and how to recognize a dictatorship takeover. That is how Harvard is fighting back. I cannot believe that I am on the side of Harvard, but I am, because Harvard is showing what it means to fight against this administration, and Columbia never should have caved. And as Wall Street says with this acronym TACO, Harvard is probably doing the right thing, not only for the country, but for the fact that we know who Trump is. Before we get to TACO, I also want to just show that Linda McMahon, who is our Department of Education secretary, said this about universities, that they should continue to be able to do research as long as they're law-abiding. I think what she really means is as long as they do what Donald Trump wants.
And yet my tax dollars are going for about $9 billion right now. I understand a lot of that is for research, good research, by the way. And universities should continue to be able to do research as long as they're abiding by the laws and are in sync, I think, with the administration and what the administration is trying to accomplish, but primarily abiding by the laws. And when we looked at different aspects of what Harvard was doing relative to anti-Semitism on its campuses, they were not enforcing Title VI the way it should be. And we had conversations with President Garber.
Whatever. So she says the thing, we think that the administration, what the administration is doing, they should be in sync with. No, universities have no obligation to do anything the government wants. And the government has absolutely no authority to tell universities what to teach and what to say. It is their First Amendment right to teach what they want. I guess I'm not surprised that Linda McMahon, who owns a wrestling company, doesn't fully understand that. She has no business being a Secretary of Education, which, by the way, she wants to destroy. All right, let's go to this really crazy clip. This really crazy clip. All right, tacos. We're going to be hearing taco a lot from now on. Taco means Trump always chickens out, which is true. And this is Wall Street's acronym for him because he constantly is backing down from tariffs. And a reporter asked him about this. God damn it. So good. All right, let's watch.
And Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, And they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me, he said, you got the hottest, we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, you know, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, you know, a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things, and you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, you know, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank God for that reporter. You can tell that bothered the shit out of him. No one, I mean, it's very rare that reporters actually ask him pointed questions like that. And props to that reporter. If anyone knows who that was, please drop her name in the comments and we will pin it to the top, because we need to be shouting out reporters who actually are doing good factual reporting like that and actually getting a rise out of him. And it really is stunning to see his mind totally break down, because he's realizing in real time that Wall Street, China, Europe all thinks he's a chicken. It's actually the perfect acronym, because Donald Trump wants to feel like he's got all this bravado, that he's this man's man, but really he's not. He puts on makeup. He wears the same thing every day. He blow dries his hair. There's a lot about him that doesn't read extremely manly to me. Not that wearing makeup, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup if you're a guy. I have occasionally put on the tinted moisturizer myself. I'm not above it. In fact, I'm fond of it. But it certainly isn't what most would define as a guy's guy, if you're looking like Trump. And that's one of the reasons I think why this really stung for him, because he is a chicken. He is a chicken. All right, then one last lie, and then we'll get out of this. Donald Trump said that he brought $5.1 trillion from the Middle East.
That money, I went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE, and we brought back $5.1 trillion. So I made that money in about 2 hours, the money we're talking about, but it's still think of it, $300 billion we've spent with no checks, no balances. They just send cash.
Man. Anyways, the entire GDP of the U.S. is under 30 trillion. So he's saying he brought in, like, what is that? Almost 20% of our GDP from a country. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. I'm so sick of this shit. But goddamn, that felt good to watch his mind totally melt down. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like in the video. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.